Welcome to Death Valley, USA. Sorry, this just in. We are in Bonn, Germany. It just feels that way because of the heat. It's hot today for the game, but I think with the lateness of the game, it's going to be looking good in a bit. We have a great game for you today. Hamburg Steelers are here looking to steal 2 games in the series on the Bonn Capitals. Bonn Capitals, of course, are going to do their best to make sure that doesn't happen. 2 pivotal games today and 1 happening tomorrow. As I said, the Steelers are hot on the tail of the Capitals. Only 4 games left to play in the season. Bonn's record is 19-7. Hamburg, 18-10. Bonn leads the North Division by 2 games, so this is a big series here in the former capital. On the mound today for the Caps is Yanni Orfanidis. He'll face Simon Boima. Tom, my partner, what are the keys to victory today for Bonn?
I think these teams both excel through great pitching staff. Both teams filled with really, really good pitchers and tough for batters to get any offensive production. So whichever team can crack the other team's pitching staff better and probably earlier as well will have pretty good chances at taking the win today.
You know, tell me, who's hot for both teams? Because last week we had a couple games going on that against Doran, of course, that we didn't have broadcast. So it'd be nice maybe in a bit to hear about, you give us a recap of those 2 games. So first, tell me who's hot on both teams.
Yeah, both teams have really great guys in their lineups. Of course, leading the division, Bonn in first place, Hamburg in second place. And Hamburg has Kevin van Meensel as their leadoff hitter. He's batting .378 on the season, and that's 3rd in the entirety of the North Division.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he used to play for Bonn until a couple of years ago. Now a Hamburg Steeler, and he's performing great. Also, Mike Kelkboom batting .350 out of the 3 spot. He had a great game last week, in last week's game 1 where he went 3 for 5, drove in a couple of runs, and also, as I previously mentioned, their pitching staff. Their starter today, Simon Boima, usually not a starter, just his 4th start in the season. He's got 30 strikeouts in 20.2 innings pitched and ERA of under 2. And their usual 2 starters, Austin Hassani and Yatsumoto Kobo, we will see him tomorrow. Both great starting pitchers, so they're also really hot at the moment. And for the Capitals, it's the usual guys pretty much. Eric Brank offensively batting .385 and Wilson Lee finding his bat again at .349, and then also their Japanese starting pitching addition, Toru Murata, has been doing pretty great. ERA sitting at 1.29.
Sounds great. I look at this top of the Bonn order, and the numbers, as you were saying, really look great. .385, .345, .349, .346. Really, really good top side of the order, as you're saying. So we definitely have 2 really good games coming up for you this weekend. I know I was joking about it being hot, but if you do get a chance, come on out to the game today. The clouds are rolling in a bit, so that's nice. The flags are sort of dead right now, but the wind is gusting around a bit, so we'll see. I see the umpires come on out for the game. They're marching out, and Tim Meyer will be behind first base. Your umpire at third base is Christopher Foyeka, and at home plate we have Roy Wateringen. Let's go through these lineups for today. We'll go first through the Hamburg Steelers. Kevin van Meensel, who we just talked about, will be batting first for the Steelers. He's playing center field. Joey Curcio is playing right field. He's second in the order. Mike Kelkboom is shortstop. Number 4, cleanup batter for the Steelers is Simon Boima. Again, that might sound familiar, as he is pitching. Also, he's the DH. Brehan Murphy is at third base, the hot corner. Teddy Fuller is behind the plate. Batting 7th is Marvin Kilich. He's at first base. Jacob Volz is in left field. And rounding out the order is Mark Harder at second base. Taking a look at the defense for the Bonn Capitals, the number 1 is a shortstop is Eric Brank. Terrell Joyce is in right field. Wilson Lee, DH. Daniel Lamb Hunt playing first base. Vinny Aarons behind the plate. Fildrick Llewellyn in left field. Denny Sanchez, third base. Lewis Martin, second base. Danny Lankos rounds out the order, and he's playing center field. Coaches at home plate discussing the rules for the game. Fans getting into a little bit. We have a little music happening here at the park as well. Everybody's in a really great mood for baseball. Looking forward to some really good plays. And we are very happy that you are with us today. Tom, as we now wait for the batters to come up, might be a good chance to talk about a little bit about what happened last week and the games that our viewers may not have had a chance to see against Doran.
It was a great showing by on both offense and pitching for the Bonn Capitals. Didn't really let up too many runs, and the offense erupted for 33 runs in just 14 innings. So
wow.
Game 1, of course, the big one where they scored 19 runs in 5 innings. And Yanni Orfanidis, in his first ever start in the German Bundesliga, threw 5 no-hit innings. Didn't give up any hits, any base runners, and so the game ended due to the 15-run rule after just 5 innings of play.
No-hitter.
No-hitter. He threw a no-hitter through 5 innings, of course, but still great feat in his first start. He's usually a reliever, and he's just started last week and is also starting today due to the injury to Sasha Koch, who's out with an injured shoulder, a right shoulder. So that's always tough as a pitcher. But Yanni Orfanidis filled in great for him last week and threw that 5 no-hit innings. And then
just I would interrupt you for a sec. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Yanni the other night, and he was saying, I had this great game. I pitched this no-hitter through 5 innings. And it's the only game you didn't broadcast.
Yeah, so you'll have to show that again today because he's on cameras right now.
But anybody who's listening out there, maybe he's got family and friends listening. He did it. We were there. We saw it. So we'll see what he does today. Sorry to interrupt, Tom.
Also, Game 2 wasn't much closer. It ended by a score of 14-3 for the Bonn Capitals, where the 14-run offensive performance backed a strong 6-inning start by Toru Murata. And so never really too much danger there as Bonn swept the 2-game series against Doran.
Yeah, I was there for the second game. Exciting game. It sort of got out of hand a little bit later in the game. Not quite as much out of hand as the first game, of course. But it was very interesting seeing Murat's pitch, and also, of course, hearing and seeing Yanni pitch that first game as well. So he's got a very interesting delivery, Yanni does, on the mound. He's got that little kick that he gives, and he reminds me of a pitcher, and I cannot think of the name, but it's on the tip of my tongue, that does a similar leg kick like that. Just warming up, finishing off a few more pitches, throw down to second, and we are ready for our first batter.
And of course, the Submariners usually mostly used as relievers, as their deliveries are usually only effective first time through the lineup. But Yanni Orfanidis, he also started in the bronze medal game at the European Champions Cup, where he also threw 4 really strong innings, allowing just 1 hit. So he's been filling in pretty well in that role, which is pretty new to him, of course, as well.
Kevin Van Meensel steps to the plate. He's the center fielder, leadoff hitter for the Hamburg Steelers, batting .378 on the season. So he's definitely one of their bright spots in the lineup. And already we have a change that is not uncommon. Left field.
Exactly. In right field, it's now Terrell Joyce, and at first base, it's Daniel Lempunt.
Yeah.
It's pretty common in the Bundesliga, because to be eligible to play in the playoffs, you have to have played a certain number of games. And so for some pitchers who joined the team later on in the season or couldn't get the chance to play as many innings, they get their chance to play in the playoffs by being on the field for 1 pitch. And now the 9 players who are supposed to play the majority of the game are now out there for the Bonn Capitals.
Van Meensel takes a moment and steps back in. Bit of a problem with the scoreboard here in the park, so waiting for the count. 1-1 is the count. Thank you, Angela. Angela Beckman, Tom Paulus, Max also here, and a single into center field for Van Meensel. As he claps his hand, looks into the dugout, urging his teammates on. So just like that, the Steelers have a runner at first base. Leadoff man is on, and that'll bring up Joey Curcio, who's playing right field today, batting .261 for the Steelers.
Kevin Van Meensel, 5 stolen bases on the season. And as a leadoff batter, we might see him take off pretty early, try to get into scoring position, come across the first run of the game.
I would have to agree with you, Tom. The good point to get something going early, especially against the side delivery of Yanni. And a hit out to left center field. Left fielder's got it. No problem. That's Fildrick Llewellyn out there. Left field area, and Van Meensel has to go back to first base. Kalkboom, Mike Kalkboom, shortstop for the Hamburg Steelers, is the third batter. One out here in the top of the first inning, if you're just joining us. No score. .350 average for Mike Kalkboom. As Tom was saying at the beginning of the game, definitely one of the hotter hitters for the Steelers. Van Meensel, the other one, is at first base. He's got a fairly decent lead. Not going foul back.
Also, even though Kalkboom is a power hitter, he doesn't strike out a lot. He puts together good at-bats. His OBP at .437, so really
nice.
A great hitter.
Wearing lucky number 13 on his back. High pop-up, just into shallow right field. Second baseman comes over. He's got it now. 2 out in the inning. Lewis Martin is the one who grabbed that. Of course, playing second base today for the Capitals. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Simon Boima. Not a bad average for a hitter, or for a pitcher, Tom. .250 on the season, I see.
Also a big power threat. Second on the team in RBIs at 18 and just 96.
There goes the runner.
At-bats.
Throw down to second. He's got him by a long shot. Umpire waits on the call, but it was fairly evident. Van Meensel's thrown out easily at second base. That'll end the inning, despite the single. No score here in Bonn. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn Capitals baseball, where there's no score between the Capitals and the Hamburg Steelers in this crucial 2-game stretch at this point in the season. On the mound is Simon Boima, who is having a very good season, but also the hitter he's going to face to kick things off today for the Bonn Capitals, Eric Brank, also having a season. I guess you could say that with a .385 average. And of course, he is the shortstop for today, as he is for most days. Boima forgetting the top button on his jersey today.
He's earned his start today because usually the game one starter for Hamburg is Austin Hassani, but he's not seeing him out there today.
Well, it is hot, and got to get those buttons undone. And a nice swing and a single, and maybe more for Brank. That was a beautiful hit in the corner. He's already at second. Graceful swing, graceful run into second. Way to kick things off for Eric Brank. Old reliable. So with the runner on second, that'll bring up Terrell Joyce. That's his 10th double of the season. Thanks, Angela. Impressive numbers, as always, for Eric Brank. Terrell Joyce, not bad numbers himself. .345 on the season.
Even more impressive, he's hit a homer in every 7th at-bat this season so far. So
this is research
stuff out of him.
Tom, this is impressive. I like that research. Lucky number 7. Number 30 on the mound. Looks the runner. Brank at second. Delivery. Swing and a miss by Terrell Joyce.
Would you want to have a guess at how many home runs he has hit so far?
7.
Exactly.
I know because I looked. He's leading the league.
That's not fair. Yeah, I'm right. He's leading the league at 7 home runs, and even though he joined the team later on in the season, he wasn't there for the first couple of games. It's still impressive numbers out of him.
And I believe, as that ball comes in for a strike, I believe the second leader in the league, or in second place in homers, is in the hole right now, Daniel Lamb Hunt.
Exactly.
With 5. See, Tom, you thought you had me, but I know it. No, thank you for those numbers. Those are great. I like that number 7, the 7 homer every 7 games stat you had. According to this scoreboard here, this is great. It says ball 7, strike 2, so the count's 7-2. Just kidding, of course.
Well, we're at 1-2.
Yep. Brent, healthy lead at second base. Boyma gives him a few looks. I think if I was Boyma, I'd be focusing a bit more on Terrell Joyce.
But I mean, Eric Brank, he's got 15 stolen bases on the season, so have to keep that in mind for sure.
It's true. That's why it's so important and so valuable when you get that lead runner on in the form of Brank, because he can really divide the attention of the pitcher. Number 33. Nice poise at the plate. Boyma not in a hurry to deliver. Steps off again. First time he stepped off, stuck his pants in. Settling himself on the mound. Brank taking a look at second to see how much room he's got. He's staying. And a hit into right field. Right to the right fielder, though. Brank's going to tag up, and he comes into third. There's a throw, but he's in there, no problem. So way to advance the runner for Terrell Joyce now with Brank on third base will bring up, as we said, second place in the league for home runs. Daniel Emmons on deck. Wilson Lee is the one coming up, getting ahead of myself.
Wilson Lee's been really impressive to see his offensive performance come around, because he was struggling a lot to start the season, average down around 200, but now he's picked it all the way back up to 349. Great production out of him. 29 hits and 24 RBIs. So
great numbers. Brank's got a really good lead at third base. They're not holding him on at all. What's up with Wilson Lee? Well, here's what's up. Hitting a lot better. Wanted that one. Didn't go around, says the umpire.
He stopped chasing because, or at least for the most part, because beginning of the season he was just striking out, swinging at almost everything they threw at him. Now you can see he's leading the team in walks by now. So
baseball's a funny game. 3-0 count by my count. Brank at third base, 1 out. The only out was previous hitter Terrell Joyce flying out to right field. Number 21 in at the plate. Boyman delivers. And that's a strike. He was watching the whole way.
Of course, if you know you have a reliever starting on the mound for you or against you, you are, of course, going to want to work the pitch counts up.
Crowd getting into it. Delivery. Mighty swing, but he just gets under a bit. And the first baseman goes back, stumbles a bit. There's a tag, and Brank goes halfway, back to third, and he's got him. Oh, he's safe, says the umpire. The umpire says it looked like Brank was just dead to rights. But the umpire calls him safe. Surely we'll see if we have a replay here.
The center fielder is all the way in the infield to argue it.
Right, so regardless, Brank is at third. So we're looking as the umpire discusses the play, the coach. Brank is at third base. All right, so Daniel Lamb Hunt is at bat now with 2 out. Brank taking another lead at third base. It was an interesting play because the first baseman was just deep enough that Brank thought about it. He thought about it about 3/4 of the way to home plate and then had a second thought. Got back, looked like he was dead to rights, but the umpire says that he got there and the tag missed him. And that's where things stand. We'll see if we can take a look at the replay on that at the end of the inning. Swing and a miss by Daniel Lamb Hunt. Daniel Lamb Hunt with a .346 average on the season, playing first base, of course. Brank not being held on. 2 out, no score. Sorry, Tom.
With a lefty on the mound.
Chopper down to third base. Murphy grabs it, throws on to first base, and just gets Lamb Hunt, and that'll end the inning. No harm done for the Steelers. Let us turn now to the replay. Grab, getting into it. Delivery. Mighty swing, but he just gets underbitten. The first baseman goes back, stumbles a bit. There's a tag, and Brank goes halfway, back to third, and he's got him. Oh, he's safe, says the umpire. The umpire says, must have come up ahead. So, that in any case, call is the call. No score here in the bottom, as we head to the top of the second inning, here in Bonn on Bonn Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn Capitals Baseball. No score here in the top of the second. Tom, tell us what you saw as we really took a closer look at that replay.
Yeah, we did.
So a big hit into right field. No problem. Camp's under it. And go ahead.
As Eric Brank was showing after that play, his arm went over the tag. He didn't. You can see Brian Murphy just reaching for it and probably missing the tag. I mean, the umpire was right there to make that call. So really good base running there by Eric Brank after making that mistake of trying to tag up and then getting back. A nice swim move.
Yep. Nice work by our team here. Get that replay. Orfanitas back for the second inning, of course. Solid first. Got out of a jam when Van Meensel hit that single, but he remained in first. Kevin Van Meensel came in from center field to argue that call on third base. He obviously had a great view out there at center field. Orfanitas delivers another pop-up. We've seen a few of those now. Brent goes out, but the left fielder, Llewellyn, comes in, and he's got it. And that's 2 out, just like that. Now I'll bring up Teddy Fuller, 219 hitter.
Yeah, and Orfanitas not a strikeout pitcher from his submarine delivery. He's a pitch-to-contact guy. He's going to be successful if he keeps producing soft contact and pop-ups and weak rounders. I mean, he's been really effective so far. 11 pitches, 5 outs. That's
very good. He's it's continuing from where he left off in the last game. You know, you were talking about there's not many sidearm delivery starters. I did remember one. Not with the same kind of delivery, but with that little kick. But Doyle Alexander pitched for the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays in the mid-'80s. Big hit into center left field. Center fielder comes over. He's got it, and that will end the inning. So, just like that, 3 up, 3 down, no score here on Caps TV. We'll be right back.
Freunde, jetzt versuche ich euch mal kurz zu erklären, warum bei den Lockstedt Steelers der Pitcher gleichzeitig auf der DH ist. Es gibt eine neue Regel, wohl erst seit diesem Jahr, die heißt Otani Rule, sodass, wenn ein Pitcher gleichzeitig auch ein guter Schlagmann ist, dass er dann, falls er als Pitcher ausgewechselt wird, weiterhin in der Lineup als DH schlagen darf. Also ich habe gerade eben noch was dazugelernt und bin froh, dass ich das jetzt an euch weitergeben durfte. Dieses Jahr werden auch die Playoffs wieder in dem alten Format ausgespielt. Also der Erste aus dem Norden spielt über Kreuz gegen den Vierten aus dem Süden. Der Zweite aus dem Norden spielt über Kreuz gegen den Dritten aus dem Süden und umgekehrt. Für die Hamburg Steelers geht es hier um Platz 2, den zu verteidigen. Paderborn spielt dieses Wochenende gegen Berlin. Die wollen natürlich auch gerne noch Zweiter werden. Auf jeden Fall spannend, was diese und nächste Woche noch in der Bundesliga Nord passiert für die endgültigen Paarungen, für die Playoffs, die dann demnächst auch im Juli schon beginnen. Da freuen wir uns drauf. Und wir gehen jetzt ins zweite Inning. Unten die Bonner sind im Nachschlag.
Welcome back to Bonn. No score here, and a very important first of 2 games between the Steelers and the Capitals. Both teams have had threats, but nothing has gotten across the plate yet. Vinny Aarons comes to the plate for the Bonn Capitals. He's hitting .288 on the season. Of course, he is the catcher, wearing number 5. Boima on the mound. The crowd, Bonn's got a healthy crowd here today. All on the one side. Now, traditionally where the opposing team fans sit, it's a little more sparse. So lots of room. If you're still thinking about coming out to the game, please do so. Great way to spend a Saturday night. Baseball. Not too warm anymore. Come on now. 1-1 is the count. Hey, you know what I was thinking, Tom? I was giving some thought to this. I'm interested to get your take on this. If you had to pick an MVP for the league right now, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm, of course, totally unbiased in picking an MVP, but, like, what we've seen from Eric Brink this season has really been even better than everything we saw out of him past years. Batting, we talked about it numerous times, .385, he's second in the league in batting average. He's leading the league in hits and doubles. He's been putting together an amazing offensive year, but also he had a second awakening as a pitcher.
As a pitcher, that's what I was going. That's incredible.
He threw 12 innings, hasn't allowed a run yet, and he's a shortstop usually. He's just been asked to fill in because of a lack of pitchers this year on the Bonn staff. So he's been my MVP for sure so far this season. I mean, we'll have to see what the playoffs bring, but what he's been showing, it's been truly remarkable.
Well, it's the full package, isn't it? And just when you think you know a player, dig a bit deeper, and there's more layers as Aarons goes down to first base on a walk. So the leadoff man is on. Always a dangerous situation when you walk the leadoff hitter. But Bonn will take it, of course. Vinny Aarons will take it, and up will come Phildrick Llewellyn. Hitting .306 on the season. Had a play out in left field already.
both of the Bonn switch hitters, both Vinny Arends and Friedrich Llewellyn, get to from their natural side, so an all-righty lineup against the lefty starting pitcher. Of course, small advantage for the Bonn Capitals.
I was wondering, Tom, if you were going to give some credence to tomorrow's pitcher for the Steelers, perhaps give them a vote.
You could definitely make a case for that, but I always find it, especially in the Bundesliga, where so many players who are position players tend to pitch as well. And then when they pitch as well as Eric Brank has done, it's really tough to match that when you're just a pitcher. But of course, Yasutomo Kubo, the Japanese starting pitcher for the games 2 for Hamburg, he's been more than impressive. He's thrown 114 innings already in just 14 games. He's leading the league by a lot in wins. He's got 11 wins on the season, all that while rocking an ERA of 1.42. So
1.42.
Well, I'll give him the Cy Young, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So a swing and a miss here at bat for Llewellyn. Aaron's at first. Look, gave it a little jerk down at first base. I thought he might go, obviously just trying to fake out the pitcher a bit, but yeah, what an ERA. That's incredible. So tomorrow's game, of course, is going to be really interesting from a pitching perspective.
It's going to be a pitcher's duel. Both starters ERAs of under 1.5 and both been showing great stuff all throughout the season, and it's really going to be a great game. Important game too for both these teams.
Absolutely. Aaron's at first base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Llewellyn at the plate. Aaron's is gone. And a hit down to just past the second baseman into center field. So Aaron's on to third base. Very nice hit and run. Not sure if it was planned that way, but that's how it worked out.
If it was executed to perfection.
They'll say now it was definitely a hit and run, they will say. It was executed to perfection, as you said. So that's Llewellyn at first base. Aaron's is at third. Sanchez comes to the plate, hitting .272 on the season. It's very nice. I was wondering if, because it was hit, it seemed like it was hit very close to second base. I thought it could be trouble, but of course it was not.
Second baseman already too far on the way towards second. Catch the runner.
Seemed like he overran it a bit. And he's going. By he, of course, I mean Llewellyn at first base. But fouled back. Hit a good jump. Aaron's at third base, being held on by Murphy. See if the same play is on. Llewellyn throw back to first base, but he's in no problem.
Not the biggest of leads for him over there.
No.
It's a speedy runner, though.
Left-handed pitcher. Look at it, he's doing his pants up. He's ready to go. But another throwback. I guess they thought the same. But he certainly looks like he wants to go at first base. He's a little jumpy.
Oftentimes you'll see some base running plays with the runners on first and third and less than 2 outs.
And you get the fake throw halfway just back to the pitcher. High.
Maybe Simon Boima thinking about the runner a bit too much on that pitch.
A bit. That's the value of having base runners, of course. It's not even divided focus. 3 things to think about on the mound right now. And a number foul. Nobody out. So Boima in a tight spot here already in the bottom of the second.
Dennis Sanchez, another one of these guys in the Bonn offense that has been really improving over the course of the season. They were all really struggling pretty badly at the start of the season. I remember him batting less than 100 after a few games played, and he's back to 270, more like numbers we know from him.
High chopper down to second base. Second baseman grabs it, throws on to first. It's the only play he's got. He got him at first, Sanchez. But the runner comes home to score. Aaron's, and it's 1-0 Capitals.
Another good swing to get a ball on the ground.
Very nice RBI for Sanchez. That'll bring up Lewis Martin. He's the second baseman for the Capitals. He's hitting 123, so a little bit of a struggle at the plate this year.
I don't think I mentioned that already 2 weeks ago, but I'll mention it again in his Champions Cup in the Netherlands, in Bussum and in Amsterdam. He was really good, one of the best hitters in the team, batting 385, if I remember correctly. So he's definitely got it in him, and of course he's an elite defender. Let's see if he finds his bat in the Bundesliga as well.
Number 19 looks third base coach. Llewellyn at second base. 1 out in the inning. 1-0 now for the Caps. Big lead at second base. Chopper, foul.
Really slow curveball by Simon Bäumer. Well, it just floats in there. That can be a dangerous pitch if you don't fool the hitters and they wait back on it.
Yeah.
Could be some damage.
Bäumer is an imposing presence on the mound. Looks back at Llewellyn. Some coverage. The delivery, and number 19, Lewis Martin, strikes out. That's 2 out now in the inning.
Good change up there.
That was a nice pitch.
Got him way out in front.
Yeah. Bugs at second base bothering Llewellyn. He's swatting away at them. Number 37 at the plate now is Danny Lankhorst. He's the center fielder. 319 average, so they've got some pop at the end of the lineup. Looks well and back to second. Nothing happening. You know, it's a lot nicer. We're broadcasting here out just above the third base dugout. It's a lot nicer out here than it is in that where we were behind the plate last year. It was really warm up there, so it's nice to have this breeze coming through.
And I went up there to get some equipment earlier, and today when it was really hot and up there, it was just awful. It was probably around 40, 45 degrees Celsius in there, so really glad we're out here. And a bit of wind.
Yes, there's some geese fly above us. Maybe you can hear that. Big swing, but shallow right field. Is he going to get to it? He will. And that'll end the inning. 1 run comes across the plate, though, for the Capitals. And as we head to the top of the third, scores 1-0. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Zurück in unsere Lieblingsstraße. Oh je, was ist, wenn wir dich da nicht erreichen können? Lass uns doch nachher Videocallen. Endlich Ruhe vor denen. Ja, macht ihr euch denn gar keine Sorgen?
Mit der Telekom ist der dort bestens erreichbar. Und das günstiger als man denkt.
Genau, mit den Magenta-Mobilangeboten zahlt ihr zu viert im Schnitt nur 19,95 pro Karte im besten 5G-Netz. Und je mehr ihr seid, desto günstiger wird's. Ist für dich.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow, first thing.
No time for borders. Got to stay in control, to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
noch was dazugelernt, nämlich dass unser Pitcher anders ausgesprochen wird. Wird er 16 auf dem Hügel Janni offeriert. Das S wird weggelassen beim Sprechen. Bisschen ist auf. Wir gehen ins dritte Inning unten. Die Steelers wieder am Schlag. Der nächste Schlagmann ist der First Base.
Welcome back to Bonn. 1-0 Capitals over the Steelers. We are in the top of the third inning. Yanni Orfanitis on the mound. Still, he has thrown 14 pitches only today. And it looks like that velocity's even up.
Thrives on the pressure of starting games.
Yeah,
Seems like.
and you know, he's not wasting any time there on the mound, is he?
He's a very emotional pitcher as far as I know him. Really gets...
Shakes off his catcher a couple times. And a foul. I like that he does modify the speed of his delivery. And I think you can tell with the current batter that it's throwing him off a bit. High pop-up. That looks like it's heading foul. I'm not sure Lamb Hunt's going to get there. No. Just over the fence.
It's also altering arm slots a little between different pitches. So
Marvin Kilich is at the plate. He's the first baseman. Wearing number 16. He's batting 191. So you've got a Martin Kilich. He's batting 191. He's going to be followed by Jakob Bolt. He's hitting 190. And Mark Harder, I guess, rounds out the order with 264. So not a very promising bottom of the lineup for the Steelers, but one never knows, of course. Orfanitas obviously hoping to go through these guys like a hot knife through butter.
And that's what he does sometimes with 2 strikes. He just goes for the overhead fastball.
It's impressive.
I talked to him about that. He started off as a regular overhead pitcher, so that's how he still got it in his arm. Used it to throw off hitters, but it didn't work here.
Well, he loses him. Walks the leadoff batter. Tough one there. Remember, can be a little dangerous walking that leadoff man, but let's see. We're, of course, right above the Steelers dugout, so the shouting you hear and the pounding is the team below, who really, of course, this is a very important series for them, so they're very much into the game. Kilich at first, swing and a miss by Jakob Boltz at the plate. He's the left fielder. Again, he's hitting 190 on the season, so some challenges. Looks down to his third base coach. Not sure if the Steelers will be putting the heat on here with a runner at first. It shows bunt.
We'll see that a bit more often out at the bottom of a lineup, playing small ball, just trying to get hitters into scoring position, or runners into scoring position rather, for the big guys at the top of the lineup.
Another ball. Having struggle getting some balls, and Orfanitis has got a few questions for the umpire too. Settling back in though. Runner at first is Kilich. He hasn't shown any movement at first. He's not going now. Gets in front of that one and fly ball to center field. Lankos has got that. Looks the runner back. First base, one out. That will bring up Machada. 264 batter, so a little pop at the end of the lineup.
If you look around the Bundesliga and the scores of today, Cologne, Cardinals, and Dortmund White Farmers already finished up their 2-game set for the weekend, with Cologne winning the first game by a score of 14-1, but then
Cologne, wow.
But then dropping the second game by a score of 2-6, so split there.
So a ball gets by Ahrens, and down to second goes Kilich.
And then the other games going on at the moment is the Untouchables Paderborn against the Berlin Flamingos. They're in the bottom of the second inning right now. Paderborn leading 2-1. And then there will be one game played today in the southern part of the Bundesliga, which is Mainz against Stuttgart, but they won't start until 7 p.m. today.
A little bit later on, yeah. Runner at second is Kilic. He got there on a pass ball. Mark Harder at the plate. One out. 1-0 Bonn, top of the third. Well, that's a big game between the Cardinals and the Wild Farmers. They're all important. All games are good to watch. And another pass ball gets by, that one gets by Aaron's, and Kilic comes down to third base. So from first to third on 2 pass balls.
And you reach base on a base and ball, so
Yeah.
not doing too much, but of course a good plate appearance and some solid base running will get you into good positions.
That's what makes that lead-off walk, and all lead-off walks, so tough. They always seem to come around and get you.
So the infield even playing somewhat in where the Capitals.
And they're expecting possibly a bunt, but
And also, if there's a shot hit right at him, might have a play at home as well.
And the umpire, Harder is on his way to first base, and the umpire says, hey, hold on a second.
Big pitch early for Orfanides.
Yes, and he strikes him out. And that'll turn the order over to Kevin Van Meensel at a single in the first inning. 2 out now, sorry.
If you were the Bonn coaching staff, do you walk him here? 2 outs, runner at third, base open.
Not bad. The next batter, of course, hitting 261, whereas lots of supporters up here for Van Meensel. They're going to pitch to him, and that one comes in low. Daddy Cool playing on the loudspeakers. Just played that to my kids the other day. Little Boney M. Never hurt anyone. Van Meensel swings and misses.
Not breaking ball, but Yanni Orfanides looking really sharp so far. And a lot of hitters out in front. Swinging and missing at that one.
That's in low. Another ball. 2-1 is the count. 2 out here in the top of the third inning. 1-0 is the score for the Capitals. Sidearm delivery, fouled off. Oh, and it just misses the light post. Orfanides looks in at his catcher. Bit of a more delayed delivery. That's fouled up.
Another good slider, and you got Van Meensel out in front again, but just able to get a bat on that. Stay alive.
Yeah, it's interesting watching Orfanides. Again, timing of the pitch, hand, the position of the delivery altered. Lots in his bag of tools. And that's looks like a single into left field, and it will be. That'll be Van Meensel's second single of the day as he urges his teammates on in the Steelers dugout, and they respond. So the score now is 1-1. As that run comes in to score, Kilic was the runner on third base.
Just one hit so far this inning. And still they capitalize, the Hamburg Steelers capitalize, get a run on the board.
So you may have been right, Tom. It may have been a good idea to intentionally walk him. But hindsight is 20/20, of course. Joey Curcio is at the bat. He's the right fielder. He's wearing number 7, hitting .261 for the Steelers. Van Meensel takes the lead, not going.
No, for me, he's really struggling a bit more. 26 pitches in the inning already. So, tough one for him.
Big swing, pop up, but foul. It's the clouds coming in now. I was looking at the forecast before the game. I didn't see it calling for rain. Can hear thunder in the distance. Not sure if that will threaten what we're doing, but we shall play on for now. That comes in for a ball. This is a very tight strike zone I'm finding so far. Some nods up here. I think that seems to be the common consensus. Van Meensel lead at first base. He's not going. And that comes in low. And so the second walk here in the inning. Runners at first and second now for Mike Kelkboom.
Making him out visit first, though, by Clemens Sishotsky.
Not a bad idea. Give him just a moment to just settle a bit.
I mean, of course, 43 pitches is where he usually his day is over. Most days when he's coming in as a reliever.
It's a quick visit. Just words of encouragement, reminding him that he knows what he's doing. He had a great first inning, great second inning, challenge here in the third, but one run only is across the plate. There is 2 out. If he can get out of this, all is well.
Yeah, facing a tough hitter now, and Michael Boom.
Yeah.
Really not who you want to face right now if you're Yanni Orfanidis or the Capitals defense. We'll have to get him out to get out of the inning.
And that's a ball. So Van Meensel is at second base. Gusio is at first. Neither being held on. 2 out. That comes in for a strike. So he gets that one. 1-1 the count now. One has to think this is a key batter in the game, even though it's early on. We knew this would be a tight game, and so far is delivered as promised. Zorfanita steps off the rubber. And readjusts as the runners take their leads. 1-1 delivery.
Going overhead curveball for that one.
I was wondering what you were going to call that one.
And that was nasty.
That was nasty. It was filthy.
To have that in your arsenal as a submariner, definitely not a bad thing.
That's what I mean. He's really, really has some very big bright spots. And that one is, he misses with that one. And 2-2. It's a good matchup. Kelkboom hitting .350. Orfanidis switching up his delivery. Looks at it in his catcher irons. Runner at second takes his lead. Runner at first takes his lead. 2 out pitch. And it's low. Full count now.
Good take on that breaking ball. It looked pretty good for a long time.
Yeah, I think they also recognize that strike zone seems to be a bit smaller today. As long as it's consistent, of course, both teams, that's what they're looking for. That one's inside, and he loses them on ball 4. So, 3 walks in the innings. The bases are now loaded for the pitcher, Simon Boima. He can help his own cause at the plate today. So Kelkboom at first base, Gusio at second, Van Meensel now is at third base, 2 out. Last time Boima was up, he flew out to right field.
There's a lot of traffic out of the Hamburg offense, but they're still only at 2 hits, and both of them have come by Kevin Van Meensel. Apart from that, it's just walks this inning.
That's right, and only one run across the plate so far. And Orfanidis will be looking to keep it that way. High pop-up. Is that going to hit foul? It does go foul.
And there's some movement in the Bonn bullpen now. Titus van Cup out there, getting loose. Would be the logical follow-up, logical reliever for Yanni Orfanides this game.
Beth, delivery. Calls it a ball. It's been a challenge having a few strikes today. Not by lack of effort.
You could see that was the first one that Vinny Arons didn't really agree with.
Yeah.
Double pump, throwing that back to Yanni Orfanides.
2-1 delivery. Bases loaded, and the another ball. I think Arons was out to talk to his pitcher, and Orfanides said, "You can stay there." Indeed.
Oh, they're checking on him. Because that pitch looked a bit awkward. He went down on one knee while throwing that ball, so might be some injury or something like that.
I haven't seen anything that would indicate that, but perhaps there's something, of course, we're not seeing.
I don't know. I don't think they want to change pitchers yet.
Oh, he is going to the bullpen.
We'll have to change. But like in the middle of an at-bat, it's a bit odd. And Titus van Cup, he hasn't been throwing a lot out there yet. And if they decide to change the pitcher in the middle of an at-bat, he won't get any warm-up pitches on the hill as well. So that's an awkward move.
That's a good point, Tom. And so Orfanides goes off to big applause. Did a good job today. Leaves the bases loaded, and we
will. And a 3-1 count as well to the batter.
And a 3-1 count. So how about we take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back with our new pitcher to tell you more about that. Here on Caps TV, it's 1-1.
Vielleicht kann der Pitcher sich auch einmal ganz kurz umdrehen. Vielen Dank. Das war's, was wir schon vermutet haben. Titus van Cup, der neue Pitcher jetzt. Auf dem Hügel für die Caps. Und zum Kindern. Dass die Hamburger hier ins Spiel gehen. Herzlich willkommen im Spiel. So, liebe Fans, jetzt gleich, hier geht's weiter und dann brauchen die Jungs nochmal euren Support. Ich mache nochmal einen Soundcheck. Sind eigentlich heute irgendwelche Hamburg-Fans hier? Hamburger, lass was hören. Ja, ich kann euch hören. Mal den Kontrast dazu. Liebe Bonn-Fans, seid ihr da? Und es wurde Licht. Da geht das Flutlicht an. Titus von Kapp ist warm geworfen. Und wir fassen nochmal zusammen. Wir haben 2 aus, wir haben einen Läufer auf.
Welcome back to Bonn Capitals baseball. Score is 1-1, and we are in the top of the third. We have a new pitcher. So the new pitcher is Titus von Kapp. He replaces Yanni Ofanidis, who left the game with an apparent injury. We're not sure. He looked good walking off the mound. I mean, that's the good news. It doesn't look like it's anything horrible physically, but he leaves the bases loaded. 3-1 count on the batter. And that comes in for a strike. So Von Kapp comes in, throws a strike, 3-2 full count with the bases loaded on Boima. Boima hoping to help his own cause on the mound. He's the pitcher in today's game, of course, for the Steelers. Full count delivery, key pitch of the game. Runners are going. And he walks them. So walks a run home. That'll be by my count, I believe that's the 4th walk in the inning.
It is, and 2 of them have already come around to score on just 1 hit.
The walks will kill you.
Another dangerous hitter coming up now for the Hamburg Steelers.
Brian Murphy is the third baseman. He's batting .305. Chopper foul. So, Boimer's at first base. Kalkboon's at second. Crucio is at third. Van Meensel has come in to score. And so is Kilic for the Steelers. 0-1 delivery is a strike.
So Titus von Kapp actually has the most innings thrown out of any Bonn pitcher so far this season due to several different injuries and stuff like that. Only 5 starts, but 40 innings thrown and 38 strikeouts, leading the team in that. And he's been a really solid addition to the Bonn bullpen all season long.
Looks the runner back at second, delivers, and a hit into left field. It's heading foul. Is it foul? And he says it's a fair ball. Runners come around. 1 scores. Boimer comes home. Slide. Safe, says the umpire. And Hamburg, the Steelers, come out to congratulate the team.
So it's just announced that was his 500th base hit in the German Bundesliga. So big hit for him there, for Brian Murphy.
Brian Murphy at second base. That was hard to tell. That one was hit right in the corner. It's a little hard with our sight line here to see. But it just caught the corner. And the players from Hamburg come out of the dugout.
Big milestone for him.
Big milestone for Murphy. Rightfully so. They give him a hand. Pitchers come in from the bullpen.
And the big hit is a big hit for him as well. Base clearing double, sending the Hamburg lead to 5-1 now.
Indeed. So the bases were loaded with Von Kapp, who came in, walks a run home, then gives up a double to Murphy. 4 runs coming across the plate.
And as we talked about before the start of the game, it was really a lot about who would crack the other team's pitching first. And it seems like in this third inning, Hamburg Steelers have really gotten to the Bonn pitching quite well.
Indeed, another big hit into right field, but it's caught. And mercifully, that ends this very damaging top of the third inning for the Bonn Capitals. And the score, they are now finding themselves behind 5-1. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schutz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Bonn, where the score is 5-1 for the Steelers. Steelers, big inning in the top of the third inning. Bonn will be looking to get some of those back. Eric Brink, top of the order, comes to the plate.
It's actually starting to rain right now. So
Indeed.
wouldn't have expected that just 1 or 2 hours ago.
This Bonn weather, I'll tell you. Eric Brink takes ball. 1-0 is the count. That's in for a strike, 1-1. So, Tom, with your expertise, let me ask you this as we wait. Always when that happens. So, Brink hits a single. Oh, and make it a double. He hustles, gets to second base. On base for the second time today.
Starting another inning off right, just as he did in the bottom of the first.
I should do that more often, try to introduce a subject, and I know there'll be a hit, so that'll be interrupting me. But a good interruption. Tom, keys for playoffs for Bonn. What do they need to do to be prepared this year?
I mean, we just saw it in the injury of Yanni Orfanidis. The pitching staff is not deep enough at all right now, because sometimes in the playoffs they have to play 3 games in a weekend, and with the current state of the pitching staff they just can't do that. With Sashikov getting injured, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, with Zach Dodson breaking his foot while watering the field of all things. He's going to be out for the season. They got a replacement in Toru Murata, but the pitching staff is really not that deep at the moment, and that's been a big...
I got a question. Is this not the second time that Sasha's been injured? A field injury? Didn't he break a finger?
Zasha did, but Zach Dodson, he broke his foot.
Okay.
Yeah, but the watering system here on the field
Not so great. It's injuring players, so...
took out 2 pitchers already, and I think they forbid pitchers from handling that by now.
I think maybe, yeah. We keep the pitchers
They
away
probably should do that.
from the equipment.
Yeah, currently it's just 3 to 4 actual pitchers, and apart from that, just position players pitching. If you want to make a deeper playoff run, there's got to be something happening there, and it was a big difference at the start of the season back when Dovydas Neverauskas was still there. He, of course, was a big part of the championship title they won last season.
Really sharp pitcher. So, here Terrell Joyce is at the plate. 2-1 is the count. Nobody out. Brink at second base. Any other holes that you see need to be filled? As that single comes down, Murphy has got it, throws on to first base, and that'll do it for Joyce. 1 out here in the inning.
Well, the offense is looking really good at the moment. Got a couple of replacements if there's any need for them, and the offense has really woken up back to their old ways, their championship winning ways of last year. So I think the offense is pretty good at the moment, just the pitching staff, which is a bit Needs some filling probably.
Oh, I saw you pitching the other night, Tom. Are you available?
Oh, and not in the way I pitched when you saw me. That was awful.
One never knows. The moment may come. Here, in this moment, Brank is on second base. Wilson Lee at the plate. Wilson Lee popped up to the first baseman. That's another high pop-up. That's heading, it looks like it's heading foul. Is he going to get to it? No, it goes into foul territory.
That carried all the way to the fence out there. That looked like a pop-up off the bat, but it carried it to the fence.
Wilson Lee's got a lot of power behind that bat. Boima is still in the game. He started the game. Also a reliever. So is Orfanitas for the Capitals when he started the game. And as we mentioned earlier, went off with an apparent injury. We're not sure what the details are. Looked okay walking off the field, which is good. He's running down to third. Brank is. Thrown down to Murphy. High. Murphy drops it, rolls back to the pitcher. And Murphy focusing his attention on the catcher, and I think what he's saying is, I wasn't ready for that.
And I'll mention it again because it's just mind-blowing to me. That was the 16th stolen base for Eric Brank this season, and it's the 27th game of the season.
Yeah, and your pick for the MVP, and you've made a strong case, and as we see from plays like this, and it's on base twice in the game today.
That'll depend a lot, though, and the outcome of the playoffs.
Of course. Oh, he had Wilson Lee on that one. Wilson Lee was out front. Now, we'll remember, Brank was on third base when he tried to tag up on a pop-up by Wilson Lee in the back in the first inning, and he only got 3/4 of the way, and then had that sort of swim move back to third base, which was a close call, and ultimately, as we saw on the replay, the correct call, we think, in which he got back to third all right. But the run never had a chance to get home as the rain starts to come down a bit now here in Bonn. No, I don't think any of us thought that we'd be seeing rain in the game when we started out, but here it is. 2-2 count, 1 out.
I don't think many of the fans expected that either.
No.
As you can see, first few start to leave.
As they head under some trees, I did hear some thunderstorms, so hopefully it remains a safe place to stand. As we hear the thunder rumbling above us. Wilson Lee at the plate, full count, 1 out, 5-1 the score, bottom of the third inning here in Bonn in a crucial 2-game series. Another big pop-up. It hits the light standard.
In the very top as well, in the light itself.
It's like the movie The Natural. You just kind of got to hit it the other way. Luckily, these lights didn't shatter in a firework display like they did in The Natural, which is, by the way, the best movie ever made. Just in case anybody was wondering. Remains full count, 1 out. And a hit into right field for Wilson Lee, and Brank comes around and scores.
How did he hit that fastball that was up by his neck?
He got it. He's giving it the old pinata try as the rain really comes down now in Bonn. Is there one single, you can see sun sort of coming through. Is there one single cloud just hanging above us? We've got a bit of a pause here in the game as I think the umpire is sort of thinking of what to do because it doesn't look like it's going to last long, but one doesn't know. Daniel Lamb Hunt at the plate. Lots of people coming under the umbrella right next to us. I just thought I had a lot of fans. Boima on the mound, delivery. That comes in for a ball. Wilson Lee at first base. 1 out, 5-2 the score now here in Bonn, bottom of the third inning. As Wilson Lee hit Eric Brank home. Eric Brank, of course, stole third base. So, nice move on his part. Low, 2-0.
Maybe the Capitals starting to see Boimer a bit better. Pitch count creeping up to 51. Stringing together a couple of hits here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and Boymer's been involved in, well, obviously the offensive part as well. He walked, also came across in the last inning, so seen a lot of action. Might be getting a bit tired. Jumper fair, it looked like, down third base, but he says it is foul, but it looked to me like it was inside the line. That was a close one, Tom.
It was, and with the way the runners placed at first base, we don't have an umpire on the third baseline, unfortunately, in a three-man system, because the third base umpire is playing in the infield. So it was the home plate umpire making that call.
Yeah.
Close one for sure.
As it rains, the sun comes through. I'm sure we'll see some form of a rainbow. With a nice backdrop to the game tonight. Wind blowing slightly out to center left field. Wilson Lee takes his lead at first base. 2-1 count. 1 out, 5-2 the score here in Bonn. And there goes Wilson Lee, and they've got him. And throw down to second. Tag. He's out. Wilson Lee committed too early. Pitcher Boyma threw behind him, and they had him by the time they threw down to second. So that'll be the second out in the inning. Guess that'd be caught stealing.
Good move by Steven Bummer, as Wilson Lee was breaking a bit too early. Did not wait for him to start his move towards home plate.
2-1 the count. 2 out now. 5-2 the score. Daniel Lamhunt takes a crack in it. Goes to the shortstop. And with that, the inning is over. So, Bonn scores 1 run to make it 5-2. We'll head to the top of the fourth here in Bonn. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Sponsoren und Helfer, Unterstützer können ja nicht oft genug genannt werden. Also falls ihr euch angesprochen fühlt und auch hier von uns genannt werden möchtet bei den Spielen der Bundesliga, informiert euch, wie ihr aushelfen könnt. Und generell kann ich die Chance mal nutzen, mich bei allen zu bedanken, die hier immer so fleißig alles vorbereiten und ihre festen Jobs an den Spieltagen übernehmen. Vielen, vielen Dank an diese ganzen ehrenamtlichen, fleißigen Helfer. Ohne euch würde hier gar nichts so gut laufen, wie es bisher ist. Die Jungs amtierender Meister, die Damen amtierender Meister. Die Nachwuchsarbeit läuft, also die Bonn Capitals ist ein toller Verein, den man gerne unterstützen kann. Wir freuen uns und schon mal vielen Dank nochmal an alle, die uns bisher unterstützen. Die Hamburg Steelers gehen jetzt wieder in die Offense. Nachdem die Gäste eben einmal durch die komplette Line-Up durchgekommen sind, geht dieses Inning auch wieder los mit dem First Baseman, mit der Nummer 16.
Welcome back to Bonn, where the score is 5-2 for the Steelers. Bonn picked up a run in the last inning. Van Kapp still on the mound for Bonn. Marvin Kilich is at the plate for the Steelers. He walked in his last at-bat, eventually coming around to score. He started things off in that first inning, and that was the walk that we said at the time when Orphanides was pitching that, could possibly come around to haunt them, and it did.
And currently the Capitals are out-hitting the Hamburg Steelers 4-3. Still they're down 3 runs.
And he hits number 16. And down to first base he goes, much to the dismay of the public address announcer today. Hit by pitch. I don't think it hurt him too bad.
You don't want to walk him, don't want to hit him either.
Nope. It doesn't hurt the batter, but it may come around to hurt the Capitals. That leadoff runner on again, as you say. That'll bring up Jakob Woltz. He's the left fielder. So that's twice now on base for Kilich, who is, we were saying before, he's a 191 batter. Neither won a hit to get him on base, but on base nonetheless. Another 190 hitter at the plate. He shows bunt, but nothing happening. You wonder if they're going to, I'm not sure what the steals are for Bolt. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you have to wonder whether if they're going to send him to move things along, build that lead. One would think that they'd be eager to build that.
So it's Marvin Kilich at first. He's got no stolen base so far in the season. Not the biggest speed threat, apparently.
Right. Knowing the power of the Bonn lineup, I guess if I was on the Steelers, I'd be trying to move things along, get a few more insurance runs across the plate. But that's the reason I'm here, and someone else is coaching the Steelers. Number 28, Bolt, 3-1 count now on him. Nobody out. Top of the fourth. Loses him to a walk. 2 on now, nobody out for Bonn, and this has been the story somewhat of the game so far. Not a lot of hitting for the Steelers, but the pitching for Bonn is what's getting these base runners on. Walks, hit batters. Little things will get you. So Kilich is at second. Bolts, again, the 7 and 8 hitters are both on base now. Harder at the plate. And that one's in the dirt almost. Harder struck out in his last at-bat.
With Fun Cup struggling on the mound, it's a tough decision that the Bonn coaching staff will have to make because there is not a lot of pitching left, as we've talked about it.
Agreed. Who are your options, Tom?
That's what I'm currently looking for. We're going to be mostly with position players after that, or youth players who just have 1 or 2 appearances on the season.
What about Brank?
He's probably going to be the next guy, but I don't think he can throw 6 innings.
Nope.
Or maybe he could, but probably shouldn't.
He should is the should he pitch? But again, he seems to be hot right now. They may need him from both the offense and the defense.
I'm sure they're going to go back, get back to him some time over the course of this game, but not in the fourth. That's what I would think.
2-0 count, nobody out. 5-2 the score here in the top of the fourth. Runner on second base. Nobody feels he's a threat. Not holding him on at all, and he's not getting much of a lead.
Capitals may be looking for another triple play as they turned one just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that was something.
Game. It's the Berlin Flamingos. Got out of a similar jam.
Yes, we were announcing that game. Interesting. Shows bunt. And he walks him 4 straight pitches. So 2 walks already in this inning.
Walk bottom of the lineup to get to the very, very dangerous top of the lineup.
Yeah, this is trouble. You're walking 7, 8, and 9, well, 8 and 9, and hit the number 7 batter.
And then you get to the guy who's 3rd in average in the entirety of the Northern Bundesliga.
Yeah. Nowhere to put him. We talked last time, do we intentionally walk Van Meensel? This isn't the option anymore.
Last time I checked, his name wasn't Adley Rutschman yet, so probably not going to do that. Nope. I remember seeing a video of him getting intentionally walked in the College World Series with the bases loaded.
Didn't they do that to Bonds in San Francisco? They would.
Oh yeah, they did.
I believe they did that a few times. So, Van Kapp up against the bases loaded, nobody out. Top of the fourth. Van Meensel at the plate. Hottest hitter that the Steelers have. former Bonn capital. Van Gogh is going to, he's got a big hole to dig out of. Let's see. Van Meensel's been on base twice. 2 singles, come across the score once.
And that's still 2 of only 3 hits decided the Hamburg Steelers all game.
It's the last guy you want up with the bases loaded. But let's see. Some heat on that one, but a ball. Struggling to find the strike zone, but the strike zone, as we talked about earlier, is a tighter strike zone than I think we're used to.
It's been consistently tight, though.
Yep.
Towards both sides.
Yep. That is a good point.
So pitchers, by now, should know where to work, where they have to work to get the called strikes.
2-1 the count. Nobody out. Bases loaded for the Steelers. Van Meensel at the plate. The delivery. And a hit into shallow right field. Joyce has got it. Runner tags. Throw home. And it's wide of the mark as it gets by Aarons. And the run scores.
Bit of miscommunication there in the infield as Daniel Lampant thought that throw was on line. He could just let it go past and they might have a shot at getting the runner at home, but throw was way up the line, up the first base line, went diving out into the backstop.
I think lack of communications is a gentle way to put it. So Bolt is still at second base and Hada at first. 1 out. Kuzio is at the plate. Yeah, that throw was definitely offline. Some alignment issues at first. Big hit into right field. That's going back. Joyce goes back, and that ball is gone. 3-run shot for Curcio. And he has blown the game open at this point as the 3-run score. Tough time for the Bonn pitchers today. Curcio crosses the plate. Congratulates his teammates. Congratulate him.
But I do have to say, it feels like a must-win game. I mean, it is a must-win game for the Hamburg Steelers. It's a very important game for both sides, for both teams, for the Bonn Capitals as well. But it doesn't really feel like they understand that all the way.
Not yet. Again, some struggles on the mound. Now these walks, these hit batters, they will and do come around to haunt you.
A sloppy defense as well. Something we've seen quite a bit, more than we would like to see all year.
Kalkboom at the plate. Number 13 takes a strike. 350 batter. There's no let up now with Kalkboom. Strong hitter. That pitch comes in low. 1-1 the count, 1 out only. The score is now 9-2 for the Steelers. That 3-run shot, timely. Chopper out to Brank, bobbles it, grabs it, throws on to first, still gets him. Boy, that Brank, he's got some prowess out there.
That's a good recovery, a really good play for bobbling that.
So down goes Kalkboom, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Simon Boya. Weimer walked in his last at-bat. Came across the score. One of a few, one of 9 that have come across the score for the Steelers.
Those 9 runs on 4 hits, it's not something you see every day.
No. No, it does tell the story of the game so far. Van Cup still out there. There's not many options, as we were discussing. Down to third, the umpire says no go. See some stirring down in the Bonn bullpen, but I'm not sure. We have to get a read on that. Another big hit, but I think that'll stay in the in the park, and it's a really nice catch by Llewellyn, who sort of catches that over his shoulder. Nice to end the inning, but several runs come across the plate. The score is 9-2 as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning here on Caps TV.
Das können sich die Caps ja alles wieder zurückholen. Wir feiern euch an, Jungs.
Just joining us and you're a Caps fan. Steelers scored 4 runs last inning. The score is 9-2 in this crucial 2-game series. New pitcher on the mound for the Steelers, Austin Hassani. He's usually a starter, so it doesn't get any easier for the Capitals. Hassani on the year as a 2.25 ERA. Not bad at all. 49 strikeouts. He's walked 22. 16 earned runs, 52 hits against. So Bonn will have its work continue to be cut out for itself. Want to win the count now. Chopper down to shortstop. On to first. Bit off the mark, but he gets there and Aarons is retired. That'll bring up Llewellyn.
Austin Hassani, probably the guy most people would have expected to start this game. He's now coming in to start the fourth inning. And probably go the distance, is what I think.
Yeah, they would. They have that nice option in the bullpen for them, which Bonn is, as we discussed, lacking a bit today.
Hassani, he's an elite pitcher.
Yes, he is. I was discussing earlier, the ERA, of course, is very respectable, 2.25.
He's got 2 quick outs here as well to start his first inning of work. It's an interesting approach with a bit of a longer opener. I mean, we've seen the concept of an opener arise, especially in the major leagues over the past couple of years, but it's mostly 2 innings. But today,
yeah, a little bit more rare here. Danny Sanchez now with 272 hitter. You were talking earlier about needing to see these Bonn bats come alive, or at least get some runners across the plate. They've had They've had a respectable number of hits, but need more, obviously, and they need to get those runners across. Eric Brank.
Right now, more seems like they need to get the players alive again.
Yeah.
It's really lacking a bit of energy right now.
That was the subtext.
Of course it was. Sorry.
No, it's true, and I think that at times in the season that's been a question.
And especially in the frequency that we've seen this problem. It's nothing new, really.
No.
Once they fall back a couple of runs. And even in close or tied games, or even when they're ahead, they really don't seem like they really want to win. And they've been losing games because of it, in my opinion.
Hassani gets a strike. It was a 3-0 count. Now it's 3-1. Imposing presence on the mound. Hit into left field. See if it stays fair. Oh, and he drops it in fair territory. And he's going to hold him to a single as the second baseman drops the ball. So
that's
Sanchez.
That's the way to get benched, I think.
I think so.
Pimping a ball that gets down just in front of the fence.
Yeah, you need to be on second when that happens. So, yeah,
as you can see, not too happy with himself.
No, and yeah, I think enough said about that. He should be at second base. He is at first base, 2 out, and that'll bring up Lewis Martin, second baseman, hitting 123. He struck out in his last at-bat.
Really fitting to what we've talked about just during the at-bat of Dennis Sanchez.
Well, Sanchez finds himself at second now and redeems himself a bit by stealing second base on that ball that was dropped by the catcher. So he's now at second, showing some hustle out there. That's nice. As the sun is now shining, the rain, that sudden rainstorm we got is past. The sun coming through, just enough to take the dust off the field. Sanchez leads second, 2 out, delivery. That comes in for a strike. 1-1 is the count. Bonn hoping to get a few runners on, flip that to the top of the order. Bit of a challenge now, a 2 out, but not impossible. Close one, ball. It's hard to tell sometimes with this umpire. It's a bit of a delayed call. So you're waiting, you're like, it's maybe.
Austin Asani out there, he reminds me a bit of Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, he has the look, doesn't he?
And also with the feet just going crazy during the entire
You're right.
process of getting ready and getting set. Just never stops, just wiggling his
Always
feet
in
around.
motion, yeah. It's a full count now, or sorry, 2-2 count as that ball was foul tip. Sanchez at second. Martin at the plate. 2 out. In the dirt. And Sanchez comes down to third, and they overthrow it at third, and Sanchez comes home to score. So that shows some life. Sanchez, who maybe lacked a bit of a hustle down to first base when he hit that ball, comes around and scores. So, redeemed. And the score is 9-3. We are only in the bottom of the 4th inning. So, plenty of time still for Bonn to make something happen.
And especially with the power of the Bonn offense, it's not over at all.
At all.
Not in the slightest. I mean, they can, we saw it just last week, they can put up 33 runs in just 14 innings. So, we'd really hope to get some life here.
So, 2 stolen bases by Sanchez. That overthrow gets him home. You just got to get on. Bonn has showed today, Eric Brank also stole, that they can run on this catcher. Just need to get on base to do it. Chopper to third, fair territory. Murphy throws on to first, and they get him. And that'll end the inning. But run comes across the plate. Sanchez scores 9-3. We'll be right back as we head to the top of the 5th inning here on Caps TV.
Nach 4 komplett gespielten Innings 9-3.
Zurück in unserer Lieblingsstraße.
Oh je, was ist, wenn wir dich da nicht erreichen können?
Lass uns doch nachher Videocallen.
Endlich Ruhe vor denen.
Ja, du zumindest.
Macht ihr euch denn gar keine Sorgen?
Nee, mit der Telekom ist er dort bestens erreichbar. Und das günstiger als man denkt. Genau, mit den Magenta-Mobilangeboten zahlt ihr zu viert im Schnitt nur 19,95 pro Karte im besten 5G-Netz. Und je mehr ihr seid, desto günstiger wird's.
Oh. Ist für dich.
Oh nee.
Welcome back to Bonn Capitals Baseball. 9-3 is the score. Bonn not ahead. Steelers up. Tom, what's happening in the rest of the league today?
So Stuttgart facing off against the Mainz Athletics. Not a lot of action there so far. In the third inning, score still tied 0-0. And the other game that's going on at the moment, Berlin Flamingos facing off against the Paderborn Untouchables. Score is 4-3 in favor of Paderborn. They have played 4.5 innings. So pretty close games all around. A bit closer than they are here at the moment.
Murphy at the plate. Hit a key double. But that one is hit out into left field. Going back at the track is Llewellyn. And he is retired. Murphy, elder statesman of the game perhaps, gives me great hope, but he's been the bright spot on that team.
It's been, of course, a nice game for him, achieving his 500th base hit in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he doubled with the bases loaded. That really blew things open, too. That'll bring up Teddy Fuller. He's the catcher. Big swing. Fouls it back. Number 91 on his back. Van Kapp is still pitching. One down. Another swing and a miss. Strikes him out. Two down.
Quick work of him here. 3 pitches, strikeout.
And
Needs to find his groove and keep the Capitals somewhere in this game.
So that brings up Kilich. And he was hit by a pitch to lead things off in the last inning. That's really what got things rolling for the Steelers, and they had when they had 4 runs come across. Other than that, we've talked about his 190 average a couple times, and you'll see that average reflected in that swing. He wasn't close on that.
I mean, as long as you throw strikes to the bottom of the lineup, you're going to be pretty successful, I think.
That's right. There's a reason at the bottom of the lineup. Throw it right down the middle. Chances are that's going to happen. Strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. And we will return bottom of the 5th inning where the score is 9-3 Bonn Capitals here on Caps TV.
Check this out.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow. First thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schutz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Welcome back to Bonn. 9-3 is the score in favor of the Steelers over the Capitals. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. You heard the lady. Danny Langhorst is at bat. Number 37. Flew out to the right fielder in his last at bat. Langhorst, not a bad season at the plate so far. 319 hitter. That comes in high.
Been having a lot more success than he did the past couple of years at the plate. He's always a really good defender out in center field.
Jabra, that heads out to the shortstop and then on to first. That's 1 down already. Hassani is working quickly on the mound, to say the least. No complaints here. Today in baseball history, Tom, I know you've been waiting for this. as Eric Brink comes to the plate, top of the order. Monty Irvin and Hank Thompson are the first black players to play for the Giants. This is in 1949. Thompson, who is also the first black player to play for the St. Louis Browns in 1947, started at second base, and Irvin pinch hits in the 8th. When Thompson steps in against Don Newcomb, it's the first time in Major League history that a black pitcher and a black hitter have faced off. And the Dodgers won that game 4-3. So really milestone game in 1949 on this date in history. Now look, I tried to do a little research, as I always do for these games, we wait for the pitch. And that comes here for a ball. Now the All-Star game has traditionally been played at this time. We look back in history. And I'm not going to talk about the All-Star game this year because I'm a little upset. And that comes in for a strike. I'm upset because Bo Bichette was not selected to play at shortstop, and for that I'm boycotting the game. I know to the dismay of Major League Baseball.
So what you're saying...
it's a tragedy.
You're boycotting because the Rangers are just a bit better this year than the Blue Jays are.
The Rangers, they're pretenders. Don't get me started. Oh, here's something I did come up with, though. 3-1 is the count here with one out. Brink at bat. And a hit, but foul. So, 1914, here's what happened. Suffering heavy losses from Federal League competition in Baltimore, Jack Dunn, the owner of the International League Orioles, offers, you may have heard of this guy, I'm not sure, you guys are a little young, Babe Ruth. They offer Babe Ruth plus Eddie Shore and catcher Ben Egan for, $10,000 to old friend Connie Mack. And that ball is also fouled back here by Brink. So Mack refuses. He says he's too poor to take on Babe Ruth for $10,000. And 2 other players, mind you. In the end, they take George something and Claude Derrick. And eventually, Ruth heads to the Sox. And he strikes out. Brink throws on to first to complete it for the first out of the inning.
So you think Shohei Ohtani's going to go for it around 10,000 as well, or is that too expensive for him?
It's a little pricey.
A little pricey, that's what I thought.
I don't know. $10,000. Talk about hindsight kicking you in the butt.
But I don't think you could ever become a legend playing for the Orioles, can you?
No, of course not. You never see Orioles hats around, do you? It's really kind of embarrassing. It's almost as bad as the Yankees hat. Hassani delivers, swing and a miss by Terrell Joyce, number 33. 0-1 the count, 2 out now in the inning. Bonn is down 9-3, so top of the order, who you'd expect to have some big hits, kind of coming up short. Big swing, chops to third. Murphy's tries to barehand it, and he boots it along back to the catcher. Nice try.
Yeah, but I think Terry Joe's not the fastest runner. He might have had a shot at throwing him out, just feeling it in his glove and making a clean play.
It's tough to pick that rolling ball up with a bare hand. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, of course. And here comes Mr. Wilson Lee. Terrell Joyce on first. 2 out. If they're going to make a move, it's getting late early. As Tom, you were saying earlier, this is entirely within Bond's wheelhouse, though, to make up the 6 runs. Hard hit down to the shortstop. He steps on second, and that will end the inning. So that fizzles out. We head to the top of the 6th inning here in Bonn, where the score is 9-3. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Nochmal die Chance nutzen, hier die Innungspause, den Wechsel, um uns bei den Sponsoren und Unterstützern zu bedanken. Vielen Dank an Wolanski GmbH, DHL Group, Techniker Krankenkasse, Robinson Wellfit, Stiftung der Volksbank Köln-Bonn WG, Huck, Coburg und Bonn-Gas. Vielen Dank für eure Unterstützung. Ohne euch wären die Capitals nicht das, was sie sind.
Welcome back to Bonn. 9-3 is the score, top of the 6th inning. Bonn's got some runs to make up. But first, they've got to defend. Titus Van Kopf is still on the mound for Bonn. Hit to third base. Sanchez picks that up, throws on to first base. One down. Quick last inning for Van Kopf, hoping for the same thing this inning. And that'll bring up Mark Harder.
Ever since giving up that 3-run home run, it's been pretty silent with the Hamburg offense.
Indeed, left-handed hitter hitting Harder walked in the 4th inning, and in the 3rd struck out. Walks, the story of the game for the Capitals, really. And that run, the 500th hit by Murphy on the Steelers as well, with the bases loaded, the double to crack things open. And really open. 1-1 count, 1 out. That comes in low.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Van Kopf looks like he's settling in. Don't wish to jinx the boy. Tight one on first, but foul. That rolls all the way to the fence. Foul pole.
He's got a great arm on the mound, especially for a pitcher in the Bundesliga, as we saw when he was pitching in Hamburg. They got a radar gun on their last stream, visible in the background, and he was up to 92, 93 on his fastball.
I was wondering, it looks great coming in. Did you get a radar gun on yourself, Tom?
Oh no, I never have, and probably good thing I never have.
And it hit just over the second baseman, Martin, and it looks like he was thinking of heading to second, but Harder will stay at first base. That took a really strange hop over Martin's head. It might have hit a rock or something on the infield, and I don't know if he would have had a play on it or not. He seemed to have a beat on it, but it bounced way over his head. And that'll flip the lineup over to the always dangerous Kevin Van Meensel, former Capital. Flew out to right field in the last at-bat, but singled in the previous 2. Harder taking a big lead at first base. Not going. Meensel shows bunt. I'm not sure how serious he was about that.
I mean, he's a great hitter, but he also has got a lot of speed at that leadoff spot, so it'll be weirdest thing in the world to see him bunt.
Runner not going, Van Meensel to Brink at short, doesn't have a play. It just ate him up a bit there. He caught that right on the infield grass. So, 1 out and 2 on all of a sudden for the for the Steelers in the most dangerous part of their order. Kevin Meensel, his 3rd hit of the day. And Harder will be at second base.
He's making a run or another push for that lead in batting average. It's just a few points behind Eric Brink, and Christian Bayesh of the Paderborn Untouchables is currently leading in that stat.
Cusio at bat now. I think we remember what happened in his last at bat. He hit a 3-run shot out of the park, and a balk has been called now on Van Kapp, who is asking the umpire, questioning what happened, but I think he seems to agree it was a balk. And now the runners move up to third and to second, respectively. Tough game for the Bonn pitchers. Delivery, solid swing. He was on that one as he fouls that straight back. Wow, he's got such a smooth swing.
It was a fastball he hit out over the fence in his last at bat, so he seems to be timing that up pretty well.
Yeah, he's hunting for that. Looking the runners back. That comes in low. 1-1 to count, one out. Score's already 9-3. Bonn can ill afford to give up any more runs. It's still within striking distance for the Capitals, but it may not be for long. Runs tacked on, and that one also comes in low. 2-1.
Very important to keep it at that. And so even being down 6 runs, they still decide to bring the infield in, keep that runner from scoring from third.
Brank really in. As that one's popped high into, looks like second base. Brank's going to come around and grab that one. 2 out now as the runners hold their positions. So that's a big out.
That's an even tougher play, starting from playing all the way in, having to get back and making that play. A good catch.
Brank has some incredible range at shortstop. Called off Martin in the end, even though it was on Martin's side, but got to go with the momentum. That'll bring up Kelkboom. Grounded out to Brank in his previous at-bat. Walked.
Another situation where he might intentionally walk a hitter, but...
Yeah, 350 hitter. Not a bad idea, Tom. Runners at second and third. As a hit into center, and no problemo at all. And that'll end the threat. Luckily so. 9-3 is the score. We head to the bottom of the 6th here on Caps TV. Daniel Lamb Hunt to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. 9-3 is the score here in Bonn. Crowd cheering the announcement of his name. That comes in for a strike.
Dangerous pitch. Oh, curveball right in there.
Sonny on the mound still for the Steelers. Oh, he's moving. High pop up. Right fielders got it. Now, Tom, tell me, So we saw that Van Cup got called for a balk in the previous inning. The pitcher has to come to a complete stop, does he not?
He does, but not with no runners on base. So it's a different issue. And I believe from what I saw the umpire mentioned, the balk was called because he was moving his right shoulder before stepping off. So as in he started his motion to pitch before stepping off. That's why he was called for a balk. No, you don't have to stop with no runners on base.
No, and it's a good point. And I think that a lot of baseball fans get a little confused as to why a balk is called sometimes and why it's not.
Probably because there's like 14 different reasons why a balk could be called.
It's extremely confusing. Runner on, you've got to wait. No runner on, don't have to wait as he strikes out Ahrens, and we head to Fildrik Llewellyn.
Two quick outs again. Not really a lot going on right now in the Bonn offense.
No, it's definitely. We started the game talking about the heat of a desert. Well, the Bonn hitting has turned into somewhat of a desert as we head into the second half of the game. Someone needs to remind them, perhaps, that the game's not over yet. They still have it in them. That pitch comes in.
Also, that if they lose both games to the Hamburg Steelers, they might just finish the season in second place. And tomorrow is not going to get any easier.
A chopper in for a single. As Llewellyn gets on with 2 out. Bonn seems to get their base runners with 2 out. But we'll take it as the pitcher is talking to his catcher. I think there's some communication issue that they're discussing. Llewellyn at first base. Danny Sanchez at the plate. Sanchez had a single, and that we think should have been a double if he was running it out in the last inning, but stole second base, then stole third base, and on the overthrow came home to score. That was the last Bonn run scored. See a throw back to first base, but Llewellyn gets back.
Maybe to quickly explain why it matters if you finish in first or in second, because of course both of these teams will move on to the playoffs. But the first place finishers will play against the 4th seed from the south. So probably a bit of a worse team. Most likely it's going to be the Hard Disciples. Might be Stuttgart as well. So that will decide in the upcoming games and weeks. But the team finishing second in the Northern Division will have to face off against the 3 seed of the south.
In short, it matters. It matters if you win this series or not. Hassani sets. Llewellyn dodging, and he's going. And a foul back. Boy, Llewellyn would have had that base stolen as he gives a smile at third base coach, and he heads back to first.
I'm talking about Stuttgart in their game against the Mainz Athletics. It's currently tied 1-1, playing in the top of the 4th inning. The Paderborn Untouchables still up 4-3 over the Berlin Flamingos.
It's a tighter game than one would imagine. At least judging by what we saw of the Flamingos when they were here. Well, the Steelers dugout wanted that strike, and with this delayed call by the umpire, they ended up getting it. 1-2 the count. 2 out, 9-3 the score. Favor of the Steelers. Llewellyn at first base. He's going again. Another hit by Sanchez, but the shortstop's got it. Throws on to first, and that'll end the inning. 9-3 the score. It hasn't changed. We head to the top of the 7th inning here on Caps TV.
Spielstand 9-3. Und dann habe ich hier einmal erklärt.
Zurück in unserer Lieblingsstraße.
Oh je, was ist, wenn wir dich da nicht erreichen können?
Lass uns doch nachher Videocallen.
Endlich Ruhe vor denen.
Ja, du zumindest.
Macht ihr euch denn gar keine Sorgen?
Nee, mit der Telekom ist er dort bestens erreichbar. Und das günstiger als man denkt. Genau, mit den Magenta-Mobilangeboten zahlt ihr zu viert im Schnitt nur 19,95 pro Karte im besten 5G-Netz. Und je mehr ihr seid, desto günstiger wird's.
Ist für dich.
Oh nee.
Back in Bonn, it's 9-3 for the Steelers. The DH, first pitcher we saw today. Big hit into center field, but not so deep. High, but not deep. Center fielder grabs it, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Boima out, and that'll bring up Brian Murphy. Perhaps the most Irish name I've heard in a number of days. But what a good player. He is wearing number 14, and he had a key double back in the third inning. 500th hit, of course, we were mentioning earlier. If you missed it, drove in a number of runs as well. Van Kopp still on the mound. The story of the game today has been the Bonn pitching.
Van Kopp just now over 50 pitches. So he's got a little bit more in his arm, I would imagine.
The walks have been the story of the game for the Capitals. Orfanides started the game, pitched well for a few innings, then number of runs as the play at first base. It's made. Brank picked that up, threw that over. Nice play. That's 2 quick outs in the inning. And then Van Kopp came on. Walk, hit a batter, a few more walks, and we are where we are. There was, of course, a key 3-run home run by Crucio in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Teddy Fuller struck out in his last at-bat in the 5th. Pitching looking a little sharper, even after 50 or so pitches by Van Kopp.
He's still a young guy. He's got it in him.
Lots in the tank. Ooh, he gets under that one. But the center fielder has another play, and that'll end the inning. 3 up, 3 down. 9-3 is the score as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Bonn. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Check this out. It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow. First thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schutz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Welcome back to Bonn. 9-3 is the score in favor of the Steelers over the Bonn Capitals. And Luis Martin is the second baseman for the Capitals, and he is at bat now. Sonny's still on the mound for the Steelers. He normally is a starter, came in as a reliever. Boya started the game for the Steelers. That comes in high. If Bonn's going to have a big inning, Tom, one would think it has to be this one.
Definitely getting into the later stages of the game, so not a lot of opportunity left.
A hit down right to Murphy at third base. Picks it up. Makes the play at first base. One down. And that'll turn the lineup over to Bonn's big... Sorry, before we do that, Danny Lankhorst is going to bat before we get to Eric Brink. So eager to see Brink, I'm calling him early.
He's been most of the offense so far.
Indeed. But Lankhorst, of course, no slouch as a batter as well, hitting .319 on the season. We're saying he's gotten better over the season as well.
As we now see Danny Sanchez thrown in the Bonn bullpen.
Sanchez, eh?
He hasn't thrown a whole lot so far.
No.
In the season.
That's a low ball and no strikes.
Just one inning, gave up a run on 2 hits. Position player, of course, usually.
Oh, and a snag at the shortstop. From the ground, throws it, not able to get it onto first base, but it was a nice catch. Nice catch out there at shortstop for Kelkboom.
That would have been a miraculous play if he somehow managed to get a throw off.
Yeah.
On the money.
Well, you see him, he's sort of shrugging it off, but he knows it was a good grab. He wanted that. Anyway, for Bonn, good news. Runner at first. Lankhorst, number 9 batters on, turns things over for Mr. Brink. Eric Brink. They've struck out in his last at-bat, but double before that. Throw back to first. Lankhorst back, no problem.
Lankhorst currently on 4 stolen bases on the season.
Oh, and he throws back to first and he gets past the first baseman. And sliding into second is Lankhorst. So he gets himself into scoring position with only 1 out. The Bonn crowd finally has something to clap about. And they are doing so. They want to see some action by the home team as well.
Maybe that just might be the start of the big inning you predicted earlier on. Who knows?
Sure, it's predicted, but begged. They see some action here. It's a good series. It's a close standing between the two teams. See a closer game. Something a little more competitive than we've seen. Well, Brink's the person to do it. Get things moving even more. That pitch, he comes in as the umpire. It is, again, I've said it a couple times, but it is sort of hard to read the umpire because he pauses, and then we'll decide if it's a ball or a strike. Geese flying over. Best seats in the house. Smash down the third base line. That is fair ball. Comes around. Lankhorst scores. Third double of the game for Brink. Eric Brink. Boy, Tom, we picked a good game to talk about the MVP of the league because I think you've got it. I think Brink definitely qualifies and more.
Trying to get some more votes, maybe.
Yeah, you bet.
It's that MVP. The third double of the game for him. He's been having a great day offensively.
There is life in them yet, my friend. Terrell Joyce hasn't had too much luck at the plate today. In the 5th, he had a single. 2 for 3.
No matter what, they need to get some fire back into the team if they want to have any chance at a comeback here.
Absolutely. That ball comes in high. So remember, Brank stole third in the last time he was on second, one of his 3 doubles of the game. So don't be surprised if he does it again. They know they can run on this catcher, and they need runners. That ball is sort of shot into shallow left field, and Brank comes around to score. As Terrell Joyce gets him home.
Great read as well by Eric Brank. I wasn't too sure if that ball might stay up and was going to get caught, but he saw it right away, read it correctly.
Absolutely.
Broke for home and scored the 5th run of the game.
That's right. It was a very good read by Brank. And that gives Bonn another run. Joyce at first base. Wilson Lee at the plate. It is now 9-5. We have said, last couple of innings, probably to the great annoyance of our listeners, it is entirely within their wheelhouse to do this, to come back.
Now it actually feels within reach again.
It does.
Stringing together a couple of nice hits, scoring some runs. And they're out hitting Hamburg still 10-6 by now. Still down 4 runs.
Yeah. That ball comes in low. Eric Brank really has been the spark plug of that offense for Bonn. Top of the order. That big average, the group at the top. And there goes Joyce to second. Throw down. He's out, says the umpire. And I think Joyce disagrees with that. We can see him talking to himself. That was definitely a close play. Umpire has the final call, though. So Wilson Lee, still at bat. As Asani looks Joyce back to his slow walk back to the dugout.
Rally killer, of course.
Is a bit of a rally killer. It was a close play, though.
It was. And when you're down late, you need to make something happen.
Yep. And shot down to short, on to first, a stretch, and I think they've got him. They do. So that'll end the rally, but Bonn does get a couple of runs. The score is now 9-5 as we head to the top of the 8th inning here on Caps TV. We'll be right back. Here in Bonn, the score is 9-5 in favor of the Steelers. We are in the top of the 8th inning with Marvin Kilich coming to the plate. He's the first baseman. Now, here's the story of Kilich today, and it kind of tells the story of Bonn. It's a walk, hit by pitch, and a strikeout. And that's what kind of game it's been for the Bonn pitchers. Now, the offense, as we saw last inning, could use a bit of an infusing... needs to be infused, I guess, with a bit more passion. Brank grabs it on to first base, and he gets it. It's Brank versus the Steelers today, it seems like. He's the one who came to play.
Another very good play. He's been really solid, short.
But if we had to pick 3 stars at the top of, at this point in the game, it would be Brank, Brank, and Brank. For the Bonn side, anyway. Jakob Boltz is the left fielder for the Steelers. He's at the plate, and the County takes the ball. 1-0 the count, 1 out. Van Kapp still on the mound. Do we have an idea of the pitch count on him, Tom?
Just at 60 now.
Okay. He had a couple quick innings.
It does. I mean, he entered the bottom of the 3rd, just 1 down.
He's a bit of a hot mess at the beginning and then settled in. .3-0 the count now.
It's already in his 6th inning of work. Keeping the pitch count pretty low, actually.
Orphanides, of course, if you've been following the game, or even if you're late coming to this game, left the game early on with an apparent injury. No word on what that might be. It seemed to walk off fine. Let's hope it's nothing too serious, of course. Count now is full. And to Brink. Grabs it on the first. And 2 out now in the inning. Brink has fielded both of those outs. He'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Mark Harder, who hit a ball hard for a single in his last at-bat. Walked previous to that in a strikeout way back in the 3rd inning. Harder hitting .264 on the season. Bonn looking to get out of this inning and back to the plate. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th inning, you got Lamb, Hunt, Aarons, and Llewellyn. The ball lands foul not too far behind us. Beautiful night now for baseball. I'll tell you, Bonn has some strange weather sometimes, and the winters are tough, but boy, when you play baseball in the summer here, it is beautiful. Not even close on that swing by Harder. 1-2 the count. That sun comes in behind us along the Rhine, sets behind us. Just beautiful. Of course, the Rhine River is off to our left. Lots of people out on the water today. People in the park. A few barbecues, of course. Foul back. One thing I really love about Bonn, of course, is the pools that they have. A couple along the Rhine. Great to be swimming, refresh in this hot air, and have a great view of the Rhine. Angela thinks I'm talking about swimming in the Rhine River, but I'm talking about swimming in the pools. Anyway, the end of the inning. Strikes him out. 9-5 is the score. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Back in Bonn, scores 9-5 in favor of the Steelers over the Capitals. Bottom of the 8th, Bonn needs to get some guys on if they're going to come back. They're only 4 runs down. It's very possible for them to do it. Daniel Lamb Hunt, Vinny Aarons, Phildrick Llewellyn are going to be the ones who attempt it. Hassani's still on the mound. A pitch comes in low. All right, Tom, baseball trivia time. I've got you this time. Don't be peeking at my notes like you always do. Oh, I know you do.
Surely do.
Let's wait for this pitch. Comes in for a strike. 1-1 the count. Only 2 pitchers have won 3 Cy Young Awards, thrown 3 no-hitters, and won 2 World Series championships. One is Justin Verlander, the reigning AL winner. Who is the other? Is it Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Tim Lincecum, Max Scherzer, or Max Paulus?
Oh, good selection right there. Possible pitchers. So it was 3 World Series, right? Or 3 Cy Youngs?
Sorry, I was watching that play.
Could you repeat that one more time? It was
3 Cy Young Awards, thrown 3 no-hitters, and won 2 World Series championships. One is Justin Verlander, the reigning AL winner. Who is the other? Of course, I think I got this question from, it was dated last year.
Feels like it might be Bob Gibson, because every time I see a stat about his career, it's just the most absurd and wild thing you could imagine. So, could be him, but I'm not sure on this one.
Could be, but it isn't. You want to take a second guess?
Oh no, I'll embarrass myself if fail on the second attempt.
No, it's a good guess. As at his hit, too, the second baseman on to first base, and Lamb Hunt is retired. The answer is Sandy Koufax. He won 3 Cy Young Awards, 63, 65, and 1966, through 4 no-hitters and 4 World Series championships. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty crazy to think about.
Crazy. Crazy. But that's your trivia today. Brought to you by Max Paulus Pitching. Just kidding. Max is here beside me doing a great job on the game today with Angela. I had a chance to bat against Max in a fun game the other night, and I struck out miserably. So credit to him. At the plate now is Vinny Aarons for the Capitals.
I think, though, that's the first trivia question I ever got wrong off of you.
Isn't that, like, say, I think it's the third one, no? I made this one hard because last week it was not even close. You had that one easily.
Gotta get out of my trivia game.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I love asking the questions. I hate answering them.
You're telling me I'm supposed to prepare and will be trivia for next time.
No.
Noted.
I asked the questions. It was my idea, so I'm asking the questions.
One can adapt.
It always makes you look smart or sound smart if you ask the questions instead of answer them. But Bob Gibson was a great guess. 3-1 the count here in Bonn on Vinny Aarons. It's 1 out. 9-5 is the score for the Steelers. That comes. He's walked him.
This inning, Steelers not too happy about the strike zone.
No.
It's been like that all day long.
Fair play. It has been. It has been tight the whole game long. Hassani is very expressive on the mound. The catcher comes out and says, look, take it easy. We're up by 4. Just need to get 2 more out.
So, Llewellyn back to just sitting righty.
Yep.
As he's been struggling from the left side of the plate all season long. So, don't know if it was him or if it was the coaching staff telling him, maybe you should try.
Back and right. So Aaron's at first. That one's in the dirt. We saw a couple pass balls earlier. Sorry, that was for the Capitals. We did see a couple pass balls earlier, just not by this team.
They had some wild pitches.
It seems like a long time ago. Aaron takes his lead at first base. Hassani delivers. Big swing. I'm not sure that one's got the juice to go out, and it doesn't. Center fielder Van Meensel has it. And Aaron's has got to go back to first base. 2 out.
Just 4 more outs. The Capitals try to come back.
Yeah, it's slipping away on them.
Tomorrow's not going to get any easier.
Tell me about tomorrow. Tell me about tomorrow and what we can expect.
It's going to be a pitcher's duel for sure. Both teams with their Japanese starters on the hill. Talked about them extensively earlier on during the broadcast. It's going to be Yasutomo Kobo for the Hamburg Steelers against Toru Murata. Both with great ERAs, great performances on the mound so far all season long. And we'll see if there's going to be any offense tomorrow. Probably going to be pretty little offense.
Sorry, as I step on your stat there. What time is the game tomorrow?
First pitch is going to be at 12. So pretty early start.
That's right. Mark that on your schedules. Enter it into your phones. It's a bit of an earlier one for sure.
And pretty much turns into a must-win for the Capitals tomorrow as well as it has been for the Steelers today. They really don't... I think they don't want to end up in second place.
Indeed. 2-0 is the count here on Sanchez. 2 out in this bottom of the 8th inning. I'll be listening to you, Tom, tomorrow. You've got the helm by yourself tomorrow.
It's going to be German, so...
Oh, well then I... Sure, I'll be listening. Big pop-up. First baseman camps under it. And he finally gets it, and that'll retire the side as we head to the top of the 9th inning. The score is 9-5. We'll be right back in Caps TV. Kelkboom hitting 350 on the season. He's only been on base once today. He had a walk back in the third inning. Part of that 5-run inning throwback. He's safe. That's Curcio at first base. Bonn hoping to end things quickly here so that Bonn can get another chance, one last chance at the plate today, and pick up 4 runs. It has been done before. Throw back to first. He's fine. Obviously, they want to make sure they can keep that double play in place, that possibility.
They need to stay within reach, within 4 runs.
Yeah. And he reached for that one, and that goes out to center field. Shouldn't be a problem. Lankhorst, who's got that. 2 out. And Curcio will have to go back to first base. Boima, big number 30, comes up to the plate. Got out to the shortstop, Brank, in his last at bat. He was one of the runs that came around in the third inning when he walked. A big hit into right field or left field, but Llewellyn's got it, and that'll retire the side. Three out, and 9-5 is the score. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn. The score is 9-5 for the Steelers. Bonn has one last chance to make up 4 runs. And that comes in for a strike. Lewis Martin at the plate. He's going to start things off. So the 8, 9, and 1 hitters will come up. Chopper to third. Murphy's got it. Over to first. That's 1 up and 1 down. That'll bring up Lankhorst. Now, if they could get on base, remember, Brank has 3 doubles today.
Problem has been 2 and 3 hitters behind Brank. Haven't been doing too much.
No. But if we look back in the game, really the action for the Steelers happened in the 3rd and 4th. Other than that, they've held them at bay. But those 2 innings, the 3rd and the 4th, not a great story for the Bonn Capitals defensively or pitching-wise. Asani delivers. That's a ball.
And somehow it still doesn't really feel like a comeback is all that possible.
Bonn is out. You see the players. They're out watching the game, top of the dugout.
Yeah, they're watching the game. They're not really taking part, it looks like.
Right. One would assume they want to win. Number 37, Lankhorst. Takes it low and he gets on base. Gets on for Eric Brank, so there's life in them yet.
Tying run in the hole.
All right. This rally cap on my head is what got the rally started. I just want to point out.
It suits you so well. Besides that.
What can I say? I should have maybe worn it a bit earlier. Eric Brank, of course, we were saying he's had 3 doubles today. Langhorst, first base. That's a good lead. Would you send him here, Tom? You take that chance? I don't know.
Could be another rally killer like last inning. So.
Yeah, I think maybe he stays at first.
Not the way Eric Brank's been swinging the bat.
Yeah. Coach Kerrigan would leave him there. High pop-up. Is that going to make it foul? It is. Just foul over the fence. A nice catch on a bounce from a fan, young gentleman. It was good to see the kids come on out to the game. New generation of fans for the Capitals.
Been a good amount of people here all day today.
Yeah, there is. Nice crowd. So Brank's got an 0-2 count. He's in the hole. 1 out. They got to make up 4 runs here in the 9th inning. Hot shot down to third base. On to second base. 1. To first, 2 not in time. So Brank is at first, but 2 out in the inning. That was hit pretty hard down to third, so they had a good chance to get that runner at second. Langhorst. But Brank's at first, so now Bonn is down to their last out. Terrell Joyce at the plate. Joyce, couple of hits today. Takes that one inside. Brank look.
I think they got him.
Yeah, I guess it did get him.
Got most of the umpire, that's for sure, but apparently.
Yeah, so the umpire is talking to the Steelers dugout about whether that hit Joyce or not. So, I mean, the bottom line is that Bonn now has 2 on for Wilson Lee, the play. Wilson Lee, not a great day at the plate, to put it mildly. I think he's 1 for 4.
But if he managed to keep it going, he would get the tying run up to the plate. And Daniel Lampant was leading the league in RBIs, so not a bad guy to have up.
That's right. This is the part of the lineup. That comes in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Hassani nods his head. He agreed with that strike. Unsurprisingly, perhaps. Brank at second. Joyce at first. Bonn down by 4 runs. A big hit, but straight up and foul. That was hit a mile high.
I think that's still up there somewhere.
Sorry, we're in Germany, a kilometer high. Want to make sure I get the terminology right.
I think that was a bit more than a kilometer high.
All right. Sonny steps off the mound, wants to look Brank back. Brank kind of tiptoes back to second, says thanks. Returns where he was. Wilson Lee at the plate. 2 on, 2 out. Caps 4 run down. 0-2 delivery. And he takes it, and it's a ball. The Steelers below us are wondering why, but that has been the strike zone all day. It has been tight for both teams. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. Had it incorrect earlier. There was a ball in the count. That one's low. They appealed down to first, but of course he didn't go around. Wilson Lee hitches up the belt, steps back in. 2-2 is the count. 2 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Sonny sets. And a hit down to shortstop. Grabs it onto first, and that'll end the game. So Bonn loses today's game 9-5 in the story of the game. Tom, perhaps you'd agree with me, was the pitching.
Well, it definitely was. Really not. The Hamburg Steelers really capitalized off of poor pitching on the Bonn side. Didn't need a lot of hits, just 7 hits in total. Scored 9 runs out of it. Were really effective offensively back in the 3rd and 4th inning. A really deserved victory for them because their pitching held up nicely. Both Simon Bäumer and Austin Hassani, really good jobs out there on the mound. So the Steelers win their first must-win game of the weekend. We'll have another one tomorrow. As we mentioned, that's going to be at 12.
Indeed. Definitely a closer team standing now in the North Division, and encourage everyone to tune in or come to the game tomorrow. On behalf of Angela Beckman, Tom Paulus, Max Paulus, and all those who are helping us today, I thank you very much for tuning in, and we look forward to having you return tomorrow. Until then, good night from Bonn.
Wichtiger Schlag, also nicht nur irgendein Meldung 500